we are being received. Like we might be. Yep, there we go. Alright. Good now, everyone. I hope this broadcast finds you well. My name is Artorius Winchester, Scholar of the Dreaming Glade, and welcome back to another VTuber cocktail stream. We don't miss months here ever, and that's why in my year of streaming, this is only the 6th one. Means I've actually missed half of the months, somehow. And I guess it depends whether you count, you know, the Decembers or not. Because my 1-year anniversary right at the start of December, and I didn't even think of doing cocktails until a couple of months after I started, just for logistical, you know, logistical know-how on how I was going to get all this junk set up. Speaking of which, let me just check the junk is set up properly. So if I switch to this, hopefully... Ah, yeah, there we go. Right, we're good. We are A-okay. Also going to try and make sure I'm not talking past my mic. Hold on, let me switch that off. I'm going to move this up a little bit. I'm going to try to, at least. There we go. So I'm talking more directly into the mic. But yeah, I hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday so far. I've certainly had a busy Saturday, trying to get as much of this as I can together. Oh dear, has this got a... No, okay. I thought this glass had a chip in it. It's just more of a slight imperfection, but I'm gonna try not to let that bother me for the rest of the stream. But yeah, so anyway, what I was like, I've had a pretty busy Saturday, all things considered, trying to get this, you know, as sorted as it could be. And, you know, also getting a bunch of other things done because I am, indisposed of tomorrow, shall we say. But yeah, and on that note, I think I probably ought to, give a little bit of a brief forward, to this stream. This one is going to be a bit more experimental than normal. I'm trying something very new with one of the drinks. One of the drinks is plural, if that gives the game away, maybe. And I also haven't had as much time as I normally would to, lab these things out. Because normally before I do one of these cocktail streams, I'll have some ideas, I'll make them up, like, the weekend before, I'll tweak the recipes a bit, and then I'll display them here. This is a lot more kind of skipping that middle step, and I'm just going in blind. Do let me know how the background audio sounds, by the way. I've tried to keep it fairly low. If it's too low or too high, do let me know. Kind of hard to tell, really. I'm just looking at some bouncing bars, no OBS, and, like, hoping. Because I can never quite remember where the sweet spot for this is. I know I've had a couple where the BGM's been too high, a couple where the BGM's been too low, but, that middle ground is, an elusive creature. But yeah, back to, the point I was initially on. These cocktails are going to be a bit more experimental. Might not be good. Just full disclaimer up front. But we're going to put some stuff in some shakers and some glasses. Yeah, we're going to fuck around and find out, essentially. So, yeah, with that, we shall move on to our first VTuber. Now, did anyone guess who this might be? From, I guess, Twitch you won't know, but the YouTube thumbnail for this, which is also on Twitter, has the silhouettes of two of these VTubers on. And I think this first one would probably be the easier one to guess. But in case some of you haven't figured it out, it is none other than Miss BS Apricot, or Fruit as I shall be calling her because it's a bit less of a mouthful. So, one drink for Fruit. We've got our classic 4 bars here where we're going to try and map out the drink. Again, this could be entirely off this week because I haven't tried this drink. I've never made it before. Hey, we did get a guess. Mimi did think it's fruit. Yep, well, absolutely correct there. Right. Yeah, you got one. There you go. Yeah. I think it's definitely the easier of the two to guess, but they're both still, like, fairly well known. But yeah, so we've got our classic 4 bars. As I was just saying, sorry before I got sidetracked there. This could be right or it could be wrong. I've never made this drink before. I'm going based off of kind of what I was hoping the drink would be. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. So first off, on our flavor scale, we're definitely wanting to lean a bit more sweet into this one. Really, in hindsight, probably should have made something quite fruity. But oh well, I came up with a drink recipe based on kind of this next point, which is we want something kind of middle of the road strength. Maybe leaning a bit stronger than I've put there, actually. For reasons I'll get into in a bit, because I don't want to give too much of the game away now, but I'm thinking a drink for fruit, I'd put the strength around about there, personally. We have something relatively simple. We're not doing anything too fancy. We're just putting stuff in and shaking. I guess maybe we should have gone middle of the road, because I think this does use some sweet and sour mix and a lime. Let me just double check that, because I've got the recipes up on a separate tab here. It does, yeah, I was right. So yeah, maybe that should have been a bit more middle of the road as well. But like I said, bars mean less this week. Doesn't matter. And finally, yeah, cold drink. Although that also stands to be changed. And I know I say, you know, when am I going to make the warm drink? This could have been the one, to be fair. But, well, it could have been the one if I'd have taken it in another potential avenue. But as for right now, we've got this avenue I've settled on first. So, we want something sweet yet powerful for a drink befitting a lich. Which, you know, you get it a lot with these Eldritch Beans, where you want things to kind of, not necessarily knock you completely sideways, but happen to be like, ooh, that's some powerful stuff. Which is kind of where I was going for there. And sweet, obviously, because it is fruit. She is sweet. Fruits are generally sweet. Yada, yada, yada. I also set myself a little challenge here, because making this just completely off the bat wasn't hard enough. I want to make a green sweet drink without using Midori, which is, I feel like, the crutch of a lot of my green drinks that I make. It's just like, just throw in Midori and everything else will work itself out. And Midori's nice, don't get me wrong, you know. Very hard to come by in the UK at the minute, at least in actual shops. Amazon still has it fine, but yeah. Very hard to come by. Allegedly because, I was actually speaking to some people about this, they've not run out of the spirit, but they've run out of the normal frosted glass they used to put the spirit in, which has led to a bottle shortage. They can't actually bottle enough of the stuff to sell. Which again is why the kind of bottles of it I bought off Amazon are now in like clear glass bottles. So clearly they've had to make some kind of compromise on their branding there. Which is, you know, I mean, I find it interesting. It's like, oh, that's the reason why it's all out of stock everywhere. But yeah, that's cool to know. And then getting back to the point, yeah, we're making here a green drink without using Midori. Or we're going to try. I'm going to be honest, this might just turn out blue. But, we're going to give it a go. So, now presenting the Siphoned Soul. Which, I mean, you know, fruit's a lich. This makes perfect sense for something fairly punchy to be, like, you know, one of the Siphoned Souls that would presumably keep her alive. So let me add that to the, here, the little bit below the screen, just 1 second, because the setup is still in need of refining. My cables aren't quite long enough for my keyboard to have them near where my mic is when I'm doing this. So, yeah, I'm just going to have to bob out and retype this up. Almost that. Alright, there we are. Type that all up. So, what's left to do now is for me to stick this on. Hello again. And actually make the damn thing. So, we're going to be starting off. Our base spirit for this drink is going to be... let's get my shakers ready. There you are. So our base spirit for this drink is going to be an ounce of a darker coloured rum. I'm using the very last drop, essentially, that I've got of my personal favourite, which is this Dorado 8-year. You can probably see in the bottom of this, I've got, like, just about enough left. Which is another one of the reasons why I didn't lab this. Oh, hi there, Mauer. Nice to see you. But yeah. So, we're gonna want to punch our mic and light stand. Because this setup is... I've been doing this for a year. It shouldn't really be this much of a car crash at this point. Right. 1 ounce of our Dorado. Ooh, hold on a sec. There's a thought on that. There you go. Get that out of the way. Try and get this as on camera as I can get it. Does it help if I move it a bit forward? Whoops. Yeah, about there. Ooh. Anytime. Ooh. Yeah, I had literally just about enough for that. So don't spill this now, because that's all we've got. There we go. 1 ounce of Dorado. A very good kind of buttery rum. Helps with the sweetness we're going for. Granted, it's not quite in the fruity sweetness direction. Yeah, punch that mic and light stand. Show it who's boss. Oh. Right. What's our next ingredient? Our next ingredient is going to be, you can probably see it in this square bottle at the bottom here. We are going to be going for some Disaronno, which I believe is like an almond liqueur. It's pretty nice stuff. I used to remember not liking this a lot when I was a younger sprog, as it were. Swig the rest. I mean, maybe later. The thing is, I think I've got plenty of alcohol with the stuff I'm going to be making. Plus also, you know, you can't drink excessively on Twitch, because, you know, it's a platform for good boys and girls. So, I will be only drinking, what is necessary to make these. And not all on stream. Just to be on the safe side. But yeah, so we're going to want half an ounce of this amaretto. We're going to carefully pour in here. There we go. Right. Where'd I put the lid for this? I was looking for a small lid and I forgot the lid for this is this giant brick here. Let's twizzle that back on. Go. Oh, yeah. Right. Next ingredient up is Old Faithful for making fancy coloured drinks. Blue Curacao. Don't know why a lot of these drinks that like a fancy colours seem to always call for blue. But, I mean, hey, you know what? It's decent tasting stuff in small doses. Yes, none of the alcohol mixed this session will be consumed. This cocktail seems for the aesthetic only. Do you hear that, Twitch? See, my chat agrees. You legally can't... Well, you probably legally can sue me still, but don't. Because it'd be a dick move. Right. So yeah, anyways, as I said, next up is Blue Curacao. And what I'm hoping is that a little underpour of this with the 1.5 ounces of the kind of golden coloured stuff will make a kind of darkish green. Now, I'm no artist. I've seen that this can allegedly work. So we're going to give it a go. And if it turns out we've got a blue drink, oops, I guess I'll try again at some point. So, there we go. About 1/2 ounce of bluest Curacao. There we go. Then, we get to some other fun ingredients. So this is where potentially any of the complexity of this drink would come in. We're going to need 1 ounce of this stuff right over here. 1 ounce of some of my home-brewed sweet and sour mix. So this is a mixture, for those of you who don't know what sweet and sour mix is, it's a mixture of 1 part water, 1 part lemon juice, 1 part lime juice, 1 part sugar. So I did about 60 grams by weight of each. Boiled it all up, put it in the fridge. We are only staring at the pretty cocktails. True, but for that I have to make them pretty, so suddenly there's a lot more pressure on this colour thing going right. Right, let's move this back over. So we want 1 ounce of sweet and sour mix. So obviously I brewed this earlier today. So it's very fresh sweet and sour mix. There we are. About 1 ounce of that. Going in. Right. And finally, we're going to want not even half an ounce, actually. 1/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Now, this is presumably just to cut through the curacao and a lot of the other kind of, like, artificial sweetness of stuff. So, I have with me a lime, which I'm now going to assault with a knife. Safely. There we go. 1 lime assaulted. I'm going to put this in here. If you are ever juicing limes, by the way, it's normally a good idea to put the thing, like, if you're going to try and, like, measure out 1/4 ounce in a jigger, put it inside one of your, shaker tins to avoid making a huge mess. Right, now we really do not want much of this. We want 1/4 of an ounce. So, I'm going to kind of move off to the side here and just try and get this right, because peering past my mic and my camera is a bit difficult. Okay. Working on through that. Bit dark, but I guess I could do this from a bit higher up. Yeah, that'll about do, I think. Nah, we could do a little bit more. Hold on. Give it a bit more juice. Literally. There we go. And I can stay there for later. So, there we have 1/4 of an ounce of lime juice, which we're going to throw into here. Okay. Oh, that's smart with the limes. Yeah, yeah. So it certainly saves a lot of mess, because, you know, I have to do other things on this table that aren't making cocktails occasionally. And it's nice if it's not really sticky for that. So, amazingly, we are looking at a very bluey green, but still quite a green drink, I think. So that's good news. I have just realised that I've forgotten ice, so you'll have to give me just 1 moment. I'm going to go get the ice tray from downstairs. Because what we're going to want to do next, actually, shove some ice in there, shake it up, pour it out, give it a taste test. I'll be back in just 1 minute. Victorian man is going down to his ice cellar. Yeah, it's just next to my wine cellar. I keep a separate cellar for every ingredient. I also have a lime cellar and a lemon cellar. God. If only. No. What I have is a freezer that is annoyingly far away from where I do these streams. Right. So. Let's throw some ice in here. I'm thinking... You know what? We haven't got a lot of mixer in here, so I'm actually going to put 5 cubes in. Because the water will help dilute the drink and might stop it being, you know... I want it to be strong, but I don't want it to literally murder someone. So. I'm going to shove this on here. There you go. Give it a bit of a shake over here, why not? I'll probably finish it off over my shoulder like I normally do, but, you know, I always feel like if I'm going to do these kind of streams, probably worth doing a bit of shaking on camera, you know? Not sure how much sound is that's coming through, or how much my voice is, jittering around while I'm shaking this. God, tell you what, I look absolutely mad doing that all over there. But there you are. You've had some shaking on camera. Be happy. Will also hopefully give you a bit of a shaker ASMR over here now it's in front of the mic as opposed to behind. Not sure how much any of this picks up, mind you. Ooh. Yeah, we're just going to keep going till it sounds like most of the ice is gone. We're going to try not to punch ourselves in the face with the shaker while we do it. Because I had a near miss there. Whew. Still sounding like there's some ice. It sounds fine, not too loud. Thank you, Blamed. Also, welcome on in. Okay. It's perfect shaking ASMR. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Right, that's about as much as I can be bothered to shake that. All the ice isn't quite gone, but, actually, it's even better when it lightly shakes the camera too. Really? Oh, okay. Well, I'll keep accidentally bumping that then, I guess. Right. Yeah, right. Let's pour this out. See, are we green? Are we blue? Okay. Well, the good news is we are green. So that's a huge plus. Like a Richter 3 quake. Ah, yes, Mawa there. Needs just light earthquakes to rock her to sleep. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad at all, actually. I'm going to try and get a slightly better angle on it. Just get that for Twitter later. In fact, hold on, let me... What's going on Twitter? Let me make sure my sleeve is proper. We go. Right. So I give you Mark 1 at least of the Siphoned Soul cocktail. Let's give it a taste, see if I've hit the sweetness, because I've hit the colour pretty well. But is it as sweet as I wanted it to be? Ooh. Sounded like someone taking a leak or opening a candy wrapper. Either of those are pretty good, I guess, Asta? Yeah, either of those could work. Right, that's... That could do with a tad less lime juice, because I think the lime is taking out a lot of the notes of some of the other stuff. But the lime only comes in very near the end, so in a way it's almost like the lime kind of like clears it up, stops it feeling like, you know, very sickly sweet and things hanging around too much. It's a nice cut through at the end, like it prepares you for your next sip, which I'm going to take now. Yeah. So the front end of this drink is firmly in the... Like, firmly in the realms of this Disaronno. Like, it opens with almonds, for sure. It's kind of like... I always think it's like Disaronno just by itself, but also a bit in this kind of... Tastes kind of like drinking a cherry Bakewell, if that makes sense. It's got that kind of like, that exact flavor of like the white stuff on a cherry Bakewell. So, yeah, you open with that. You then come into some of the more buttery interplay with the rum. So that's kind of your next step. The blue doesn't really feature too much in the flavor profile outside of a slight kind of like oranginess, but honestly, that's kind of not bad. Just chatting, you mean just drinking? I mean, Illuminatelli, if you can suggest a better category, by all means. I have to admit, I'm not au fait with Twitch, so if I'm in the wrong place, do let me know. But I had a scan through before stream, and I was like, well, there's not really a cocktail stream, per se. So, yeah. If there's another category I should be in, then fair enough, I'll take that as my bad. So yeah, we have this cocktail starting with the Almondy Disaronno, going to the Dorado, not really hitting the DeKuyper. I think this is fine. I don't think there's a specific one. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got, but as I say, thanks for, you know, double checking that anyway for me. Always nice to know that it's not just me, you know? But yeah, where was I? Oh yeah. Almond, kind of butterscotchy rum, blue curacao. I promise I'll get to the end of the sentence. And then obviously, as I said, you have like the lime to kind of clean the palate out. That's very drinkable, actually. I think I've hit the strength dead on. Like, it's definitely an alcoholic beverage. But, it's not, you know, like, it's not going to kill you if you drink one or two of them. You probably don't want more than two. But it's not going to kill you. There's a version of this I was thinking of, although honestly, I'm pretty happy with that version. There's a version of this I was thinking of where it's like, okay, maybe I somewhere add into this like some apple schnapps or something. Because I think then, you know, you kind of got like the cherry bakeliness of the Disaronno, so add some apple schnapps to that. And like you basically got like apple pie as a cocktail, which also means, you know, do you then maybe kind of like mull it slightly to like warm it up? I think that's quite refreshing as a cold drink, don't get me wrong. But these are other directions I kind of could have taken it in. Luckily, the recipe I hit on here seems to have worked wonders. Which is fantastic news for me. I'm going to have another sip of this, actually. Yeah, the interplay between these two is beautiful. It's got to be said. I was very right to pick out my nice butterscotchy rum here to do this one with. But yeah, I shall not linger on this too long, otherwise I'm just going to sit here drinking it all, and I'm not going to remember what my name is by the time I try and make the next drink. So that was a Siphoned Soul. Yeah. I thought that one was the one I thought might need the most revisions in the future, but as it turns out, it's worked pretty fine. So we'll put that over there for a minute, and we shall head back to this. Right. So, the $1 million question, everyone. Oh, that's the wrong color. It's fine. Continuity error, don't worry about it. Did anyone from the thumbnails on YouTube or Twitter work out who our second VTuber might be for tonight? I'll hang around for a minute or so. Any guesses? Because I'd be genuinely interested to see if people, like... I thought someone would probably get fruit. I think it's very within the realms of possibility that people might get this next one as well. But I'm just kind of curious to see what my audience does and doesn't know, essentially. I'm also kind of curious to know as well if there's much of a delay on the whole stream chat. Or like what that's like now that I'm using Restream instead of just sending it, like piping it straight through OBS into YouTube. Because I know there used to be a bit of delay, like OBS to YouTube anyway. But now I've got like OBS to Restream to YouTube. I'm thinking like how much of that extra step added latency-wise? Well, either a fair bit, or I'm going to say that no one actually knows this next one. So, let me do a grand reveal for our next VTuber, which is going to be Mimkibus. Ah, there we are. We finally got the response in Mimi, I don't know. Yep. Well, this is going to be, well, possibly a learning experience for all of you then. Mimkibus, they're adorable. Not really much to say other than that, really. You should totally check them out. As you should with Fruit, and as you should with everyone else I feature on this show. So, Mimkibus. Let's see, what are we going for here on the whole profile-wise? So, We want something super sweet. I think knowing Mimcubus is kind of, well, I'm just going to shorten it to Mim. I don't need to do the full name every time. They'll be fine with it, I'm sure. But yeah, say knowing Mim's general kind of, I guess, playfulness, something super sweet seems in order, shall we say. We want something kind of like middle of the road strength. I guess technically I could crank this one up by a bit, but my bars here are really being tested because of how weird this next, you know, air quotes drink is. I'm trying something very different with this one, which I'll probably get to on the next slide. But I'd be interested to see what people make of it. I will tell you it's dead simple if you do like it. By the way, there's a setting in Restream where you can share chats between platforms. I've been using it to sync all of my streams up chats. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm actually doing that now, Blame. So yeah, I can see chats from both from like both ends. But thanks for telling me anyway. What was I doing? Oh yeah, that's it. Sorry, bars. Sorry, Blame. Not your fault, but I completely lost my thread there for a second. So yeah, we're going for something dead simple here. And also, yeah, it's gonna be cold. Although I guess it doesn't actually have ice in it, so it's not super cold. So again, room for debate there, but let's be honest, these bars are just a general guide, and at least I hope they're a decent guide. I might need to scrap this slide. I keep saying this every time this slide comes up. It's like, well, maybe I should just scrap this one and do something more useful. But I don't know what I'd put in its place, so for now, this will do. Okay, sweet. Not too strong, and most importantly, fun were my main thoughts when making this. So as I said, you know, sweet and fun. Kind of the things we're going for here. I mean for us... Oh, there's a setting to do it for you. Oh, right. Also, first off, don't apologize. In fact, interrupt away. I prefer it that way. And second off, I didn't realize there's a way for it to share chats between platforms. There, right, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. So, I've obviously just got to be a little bit careful about that, because Twitch can be a bit iffy about sharing chats. But, yeah. That's definitely something I can look into in the future. So, this, I guess, middle line is the biggest clue to this drink here. So, the presentation of this drink, or perhaps these drinks, will be a first time for the channel. So, first time I'm trying something like this, I'm treading some new ground here. So, now presenting our drinks for Mim. Sultry shots, baby! We're making a trio of shots for them. Which is, I think potentially going to be quite interesting. I've been pretty selective on what I'm putting in each of these shots. So they're going to be like fancy shots. It's not, we're just going to, you know, we're not just going to pour a shot glass full of vodka and call it a day. We do things better around here. So let me quickly update the title again. And then we'll turn the camera back on and I'll show you exactly what's going to go in each of these. As soon as I find it, there it is. There we go, there we go. Alright. Just realised, we're blasting through this very quickly again, aren't we? Yeah. The cocktail streams I always think they're going to take a little longer than they do. But, yeah, I suppose I should really expect, really. These are like more an hour and a half kind of deals rather than the normal 2-hour affairs that are, well, two and a bit hour affairs that are normal stream length. Right. Behold, my shot glass is 3. And I think it's high time we filled them up. So, we're going to go for 3 different shots of 3 different colours that I think are kind of closest represent Mim. Not necessarily, I think in from least to most relevant. Maybe? I don't know. There are 3 colours that are relevant to them. So, our first shot is going to be... probably should have... Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. I'm just going to rinse this out so it's not still full of lime juice. Nah! You know what? There's lime in this as well. Doesn't even matter. Well, not in this one specifically, but... Yeah, stuff and things. Basically, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm also not going to, like, shake these or anything. Ideally, I guess I could put them in, like, a mixing glass, but I have to rinse out the mixing glass between each shot. So, we're just going to do this, you know, like I say. We don't want too much faffing around. These are meant to be dead simple, and they're meant to be dead fun. So I'm going to prove that by not doing much faffing around. We're going to want a slightly over 1/4 ounce of grenadine here. There it is. Yeah. Now, Grenadine's a fruit syrup, for those of you who don't know, and you can buy it store-bought, which is what I've done, because while I do like to make my own syrups, Grenadine's a lot of effort, and I'm not going to get through a bottle of it in any kind of reasonable time, really. Whereas the store-bought stuff is full of preservatives, that means it lasts way longer, which is handy for me. I'm just going to be honest. Right. Here we are. Got 1/4 ounce of Grenadine in there. We're then going to want just under 1/2 ounce of Peach Schnapps. I've got some Archers here because it's what was available at the shops this morning. Other brands are available. And maybe better or worse. I'm not really sure. Can't say I'm a Peach Schnapps connoisseur. Connoisseur? Oh, God. Already slurring. There we go. So, just under 1/2 ounce of that. And then, to top it all off, to really bump up the alcohol value, we are going to want 3/4 ounce of vodka. I've just got some Smirnoff. Nothing too fancy on that front. You can probably go for some flavoured vodka if you want. But, you know, I'm going to let the Grenadine, the Peach Schnapps kind of do the flavour lifting, and then just put, you know, straight old regular vodka in here. Be fine. I'll clear up the Grenadine stuff later. Yeah, about 3/4 ounce. And that's one of our 3 sultry shots. Turn that back over. Right. Shot number 2. Because this is a trio, obviously. We are going to want... As soon as I can reach it. There it is. Going back to our old Blue Curacao, we're going to want about 1/2 ounce of that. So here we are, shot glass number 2. Yeah, 1/2 ounce of that. We are going to want a very, very scant, like a kind of low pour, like 1/4 ounce. Because obviously, you know, 1/4 ounce made that drink fine. Which actually makes me question, do we do sweet and sour mix instead of lime juice here? I think putting lime juice in a shot is probably a bit heretical, isn't it? Yeah, you know what? We'll go for the sweet and sour instead. This is technically not on the recipe I wrote down, but I'm feeling like freestyling a bit. So, we're going to do... Whoopsie. Just a very scant... like, not even that much, really. If I can get it on camera. About... what would that be? I guess we were looking more like an 1/8 ounce of sweet and sour there. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, make it 1/4. Go. Which leaves us with our final ingredient. And something I've definitely been wanting to bust out because it's got a very fancy bottle. 1 ounce of a Cointreau Triple Sec, which is also a Curacao, I guess. It's technically kind of like dry Curacao, but except for the differences, which I know isn't the most helpful explanation. But, yeah, it's of a similar ilk, should we say. They have a common ancestor. Right, next question. We're going to be able to fit an ounce of, whoa, just about. Right, there we are. And the second shot is made. Now, we've got one red, much like Mim's eyes. We've got blue, which is also a very important part of their colour palette. Now, we've got to do purple. So, this one does actually call for lime juice, so I'm glad I didn't use the lime juice earlier. Woo. We're going to want 1/4 ounce of vodka. And I'm going to really hope this gets the colour. I'm going to... He's going off the tracks! Emergency! Emergency! Oh. Oopsie. Right. So, 1/4 ounce of vodka. Whoa. Careful with that. Because if there's one shot that's going to overflow, it'll be this one. We want an under 1/4 ounce pour of Blue Curacao. So, let's get our blue back. Kind of reaching for these off camera a bit now, but just means they're a bit easier to get to. So, an under 1/4 ounce. So, again, very not much. Right, we'll go... Ooh, that might even be a bit much. Tell you what. Pour. About that much in. That can go in there for later. I've just poured the other little bit back in my cans. We're going to want another very small bit of lime juice. Now, I know, remember what I said about, hey, put your jigger in your cans to catch excess lime juice? Not going to do that this time. Because we are just wilding with it. So here you are, you get an out of cans lime juice squeeze. And again, we really don't want much of this because it's going to annihilate the drink otherwise, I think. In fact, I think that might do. So, very scant amount of lime juice. And then the final one, because you might notice this is still looking quite blue at the minute. How are you going to fix this? Well, this last one, which I'm hoping turns out to be purple, by the way, that's the goal, is a combination of some of the ingredients from the blue and some of the ingredients from the red. So if I put 3/4 ounce Grenadine in here, which is quite a lot of Grenadine, but we're going to try it. We should. Okay, let me just get the back end of my bar spoon in there, mix that around. You know what? Not quite the purple I was hoping for. But, well, like I said, experimental stream. So there we are. We have red, we have blue, we have an attempt at purple. I'm just gonna... No one saw that. So, there we are. Some sultry shots from Incubus. Let me just get them lined up. Get the siphon soul out of frame. Do. Get my sleeve sorted again. That's sorted enough. It's quite a dark purple. Yeah. Might need a tweak to that one for future recipes, but oh, hello. Is my camera gonna... Hello? Wow, it is straight up not. Oh, one sec. Try not to knock this around while I'm doing this. There we are, thank you. Right. Can I get a... No, come on. Right. This is a certified glove off moment because that's not picking up that I'm pressing a button. Curse you, touchscreens. There we go. Right. Now, for purposes that we stated earlier, I'm not going to down 3 shots on stream. That would be irresponsible. And remember, Twitch is for good boys and girls, and we can't have that there. So I'm just going to try a little bit. And to be fair, these are some, like, pretty... Like, if I hold up my hand as a comparison, which is now covered in grenadine, like, that's longer than my, finger. Maybe have a stylish in the future for these shots? Possibly, yeah. But I guess you need 2 hands for that. Yeah, the problem is I guess I'd need 2 hands, and then I'd also need to press, you know, the photo button, kind of, so I can get these on Twitter afterwards. Yeah, unfortunately, I am but a man with 2 hands. So yeah, anyway, let's try some of these. First off, we've got our red shot, which, let me remind myself what was in this. I know I just made it. This one's Grenadine, Vodka, and Peach Schnapps. We're just going to try a little nip of it. Interesting. Yes, no one is drinking these shots. They are being donated to the local orphanage after the stream. True. Mama indeed gets it, yeah. Right. So yeah, well, oh yeah, before I... Sorry, I'm reaching straight for the next shot. So this red shot, I think, honestly, it could possibly do with a knockdown of the vodka and a knock up of the peach schnapps. What I'm kind of getting here, particularly with the grenadine, is that, like, granted, I know, obviously, with shots, you know, it's more like, oh, just as long as they're pleasant on the way down. And it is pleasant enough on the way down, but it's kind of like, it's kind of cough syrupy. Kind of, you know, feels like I'm hitting the lean or something, which is an odd description. But yeah, not bad, not bad. I could certainly shot that, but I won't, for TOS reasons. Next up, the blue variant, which is Blue Curacao triple sec and a little sweet and sour mix. Now see, that one I prefer way more. That one's miles better. You get a lot of the oranginess from the triple sec, interplaying with the kind of more synthetic-y orangeness of the Blue Curacao. And I think that little bit of sweet and sour mix we added in is a really good call, because it helps bring both those flavors out and helps them kind of harmonize as opposed to fighting. I'm a fan of that. I'm definitely a fan of that. And like I say, yeah, I think blue is my favorite so far. Red could use a little less vodka if we were to do a future version of it. And speaking of future versions of it, we've got purple. You're gonna have to those kids are gonna love those shots. Well, you know, it's like the French, don't they? Start them drinking at like 12, and then they have way less alcoholics. So there's a through line that I'm just taking to its logical conclusion. Right. So we have this purple shot, which I'm going to try a bit of now. I mean, easily the best tasting. Like, I think mainly because it's the, I think because it's like, I have a sweet tooth and this is 90%, well, yeah, over half grenadine. So it's very just like, very easy on the way down. It is one of those drinks where, like, I feel like you're going to want to drink 1 or 2 in between, like, shotting these. So actually, as part of a shot tray, or a shot selection, this works really well. By its own, I would say it's too sweet. It's not alcoholic enough to be, you know, shot-worthy. I wouldn't necessarily rate it. Accompanied with these two, I think it really does give that fun factor. So, you know, you've got this one for if you want to go ham, this one for if you're middle of the road, and this one for if you want to take it easy. I missed the mixing of this purple one, but I'm guessing it's just undiluted Ribena based on the colour. What it actually is, it's kind of a combination of the ingredients from... I don't know why I'm pointing like that. But, sure. I'm going to point like this now. It's a combination of the ingredients from these two. So you've got a bunch of Grenadine in there, and some Blue Curcao, which makes the kind of colour, which is kind of purpley. And then other than that, I think it's vodka and a bit of lime juice just to stop the Grenadine overpowering everything, essentially. I mean, the Grenadine still does some work because of how much there is in there. But, yeah. It's a fascinating little number, and I think a perfect complement to these three. Which means, I think a bit earlier than scheduled, perhaps. I'll take all of them. Well, that's good. They come as a 3. And yeah, I'm actually really proud with how the drinks have turned out tonight. I feel like I've dashed through them a bit, maybe. Because like I say, I swear when I used to do these, you know, some months ago. I guess, to be fair, I had more, like, running down to my, ice cellar, as we've started calling it. I had to do more trips to the ice cellar and a bit more rinsing cans out, because obviously these shots didn't need any shaking. It's just straight up put them in there and, you know, down them, forget about it. But yeah, I think, this has been a very successful evening. Is there anything I would change about either of the drinks? I think I already discussed, bringing back the Siphon Soul. I think I already discussed maybe doing, like, kind of a warm apple schnapps version of that. I think that might be interesting. As for these, I'm thinking each one should probably be a different flavor. While I like the dynamic we got here, we've got with, you know, strongest, middle of the road, weakest, as like a nice variant. I think each one of them should be based on a different spirit, and they should all be of like a roughly the same strength. So we've got vodka in this red one. We've got triple sec in this blue one. I'm thinking this right one. There's one other purpley kind of liqueur I know of. There was a couple, actually. Any suggestions for garnishes for the drinks? That's a good question, actually. For the shots, I mean, not really. They're shots. For this, it's a Siphon Soul, so if you've got one of those really kind of like fancy ice cube molds that are like skulls, you could just put a skull ice cube in the middle of it, maybe. I think that'd be pretty metal. That would certainly work. Because I did have a few little bits of ice that I just couldn't be bothered to shake down, floating around in there, so it does work, you know, with like that kind of vibe going for it. But yeah, so that's really as far as garnishes would go. I mean, I don't think these need any garnishes. Maybe you could do some, like, if you really wanted, you could do some, like, sugared rims on the glasses. Cranberry, blueberry, and a grape. I mean, you could also do that. Just like, yeah, instead of a lime wedge, it's just berries. Actually, that's a really cute idea. Like, I laugh, but... okay, there's going to be a shot tray in the future that does that. I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but like my work's blamed. I'm going to make that work somehow, because that sounds hilarious and also adorable. Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah. Could I potentially do some kind of shot that uses, that kind of pea flower gin that's purple? Is shotting gin ever a good idea? I'm leaning towards no, but the experimentation is there. Or alternatively, could I, and this is a bottle I have, so I'm actually going to go and quickly get it. It is. Could I potentially do something with some lychee liqueur, which I haven't actually got that much left of. Crap, I've been getting through that. But yeah, some of this, which is like pink, and then maybe just putting a tiny splash of, like, blue to kind of darken it down and make it more purpley. I think that's an option too. Wait. Strawberry, then blueberry, then blackberry. You're so right, actually. I mean, I didn't even think of that. I was just like, yeah, they're shots. I'm not really sure. But you are actually so right. Yeah, so if you want garnishes for these, a strawberry, a blueberry, and a blackberry. That's fun. Love that. And then, like I say, just get a big, maybe a wedge of lime and like an ice, like a big, ice cube in the shape of a skull if you got one of those particular molds. But yeah, say options for this third one if we don't want it to be, quite as dark. Like I say, there's the, I want to say it's like Emperor Pea Flower Gin, which is very purple. Alternatively, there's, you know, the lychee liqueur route. There's room for experimentation there, and that's, you know, at the ultimate end of the day, that's kind of what I do when I'm making these normally before I present them to stream, but it's what I'm going to do on stream for this one. Although I shan't make up any more right now because I have enough for an off-stream evening, which I shall enjoy responsibly, Twitch. Don't cancel me. Very flighty about that still. It's like, yeah, your TOS says it's all fine, but then you say, oh yeah, most streamers also call their alcoholic beverages apple juice. So, while it's probably fine, I'm in dicey waters here. So yeah, I shall be consuming these responsibly off-stream. And the only thing left for me to say is thank you all very much for watching and turning up. It's been, yeah. It's been fun making these. So, yeah, with that out the way, I've been Artorius Winchester. Thanks again for watching. And I'll see you next time. The orphans are going to enjoy these drinks immensely. Yes, they are, Mauer. Yeah. God, little 3-year-old Timmy's going to drink one of these, and by the French metric, he's never going to drink again in his life. For what reason, I'm not at liberty to discuss, but, just don't pass out on stream, that's the rule. Ah, well, it's going to take more than these to make me pass out. Yeah. You do forget that I am British, and one of our national pastimes is alcoholism, so... It takes a bit more than that to do that to me. So, yeah, where was I? Oh, yeah, that's right. I was saying goodbye before I saw all this. Anyway, farewell.